Okay, so I do see that dry flakiness on this area.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome to today's first impressions, which is on the Fenty Beauty powder and Fenty Beauty concealer. Now this is a Fenty Beauty Pro Filt'R Instant Retouch Concealer and the Fenty Beauty Pro Filt'R Instant Retouch Setting Powder. I have mine setting powder in the shade Butter, which I feel was a perfect shade for me, and the shade 150 for the concealer. Now let's start off with some details of the concealer, which I know you guys have already heard, but for those who haven't, it is available in 50 creamy crease proof long wearing shades and it retails for $26. The powder is available in 8 truly translucent shades with no flashbacks, and it is available for $32. I don't even know what to tell you guys right now. I feel like we should just dive right into the actual tutorial demo portion of these products, because that is where the real tea is at. You know, the crusty dustiness, it's in there. So if you want to see how these products work out on my skin for the first time, you're in for a treat. So just keep on watching. Let's dive right into this demo portion of the video, or the try on part. Now I'm going to just mention this very quickly. I am going to be using my NYX Can't Stop Won't Stop foundation, and I'm going to be applying it with my Juno & Co sponge. You guys know I love this sponge. Now I want to say that I'm going to use this foundation even though I have the Fenty Beauty foundation, just because when I try new products, I like to use products that I already know how they work on my skin and that I like and that I truly trust to try another product with. Because if I'm going to be testing out the concealer and the powder and I use a new foundation on top of that, I feel like if something goes wrong or something doesn't work out, I won't be able to like nitpick and find out what it is exactly, as opposed to if I use my own foundation that, I mean, is like my holy grail, which is this one that I use literally all day, every day. I tell you guys this is my favorite foundation, I think, in almost all my videos. But that, I just wanted to let you guys know that I do have the Fenty Beauty foundation. Now I do like the foundation. I'm not going to say it's my favorite because it isn't, but I do like it. But that one, for me, on my skin, I have to apply it and let it sink in the skin for about 2 hours before it starts looking good, because the initial application of that one on my skin, it doesn't look very good until we're like 2 hours in of wearing the foundation, which is weird. I just want to throw that out there. Now I'm going to apply this very quickly and I'll return so we can get into the good stuff. So let's start off with the concealer and see how it goes. So I'm going to, let me see the wand. Okay, so it's like your basic doe foot applicator. I think the color might match, fingers crossed. So I'm going to start off on this side. And I'm just going to apply what's on the brush. And I feel like the color might be a pinch light, but it's okay. We will make it work. And I'm using another Juno & Co sponge. I washed this one because I wanted to have like a clean sponge to blend it out and not have foundation or anything, just so I can really see how it blends and, you know, all that jazz. So let's blend it. Okay, the initial application, I would say, is very opaque. This definitely looks crazy white, but it doesn't feel like it's a heavy concealer. Like, it was super opaque, so I was like, okay, it's going to be full coverage. It doesn't feel super heavy. I'm going to be honest, I think it looks much lighter on camera than how it looks in person, because I am looking in the mirror And it doesn't look that intense as it looks in the camera. So I'm going to take my other sponge that has foundation and I'll blend the edges out just so it won't look so crazy. But it still looks crazy. I don't know, is the camera picking up that it's like super white? I promise it doesn't look this crazy white in person. And it also feels like I don't have anything on, which is odd. And maybe I did get a like super light shade. But again, once I have my foundation, the rest of my makeup, I don't think it'll look that crazy. It just, initially it looks super pale. Definitely, like compared to this side, it looks crazy. But it really isn't. I don't know, it feels like, it doesn't feel like it's a super heavy full coverage concealer. I feel like it's a medium concealer and you can probably build it up. Now I feel like right in this area it accentuated my foundation and pores. I don't know if you guys can really get a good look at that, but that's how I see it. Okay guys, so I did powder on this side of my face. Now I am noticing that the concealer moved my foundation and somewhat removed it, which is weird because I've never had that happen with a concealer. Now you guys can see that it looks even with a powder. Now I am going to say, if you notice that I have dry patches right here, that did happen after I applied the powder. But, there's a but, this time of year, winter, I do tend to get super dry in this area, and I ran out of my Tarte Maracuja oil, which is what I usually use on my dry patches, and it works great. So since I don't have that right now, this is very sensitive to powders, and it does look like dry and cracked. But other than that, on the rest of the skin, the powder looks really good. Now, I told you guys I noticed that it removed my foundation, that it moved it. It did happen on this side as well, and it is a concealer because this side still doesn't have powder and it looks the same. So now let me apply powder on this side. Let me blend out any creasing. I typically have creasing under the eyes with every foundation concealer I use. I don't really how can I say it? I don't really like rate my concealers based on the creasing under my eyes because it naturally happens. I rate it after I apply a setting powder because no matter what, I have to set a concealer, even if it's matte, because it will crease. So I set it on this side and the creasing looks like there isn't any. My natural lines are there, but the concealer isn't creased in there, which I like. Now on this side that it wasn't powdered, it did crease, but again, that's normal. So now that I blended it out before I apply powder, let's grab the powder and I'm going to press it into my skin and blend it all over the rest of my face as well. My eyelids also crease, which I also always set with my translucent powder. My immediate reaction or how it feels is that it feels like my face is tightening up, kind of like it's getting dry. That's exactly how it feels. Like I'm feeling a bit crusty dusty, if you know what I mean. Okay guys, I finished up my makeup and I didn't really finish it all because yeah, this is a hot ass mess. Like this is the crusty dusty in a bad way. Crusty dusty that I never want to have on my skin. Like I said, I'm dry from this area in this time of the year, which is winter. And normally when this happens with other powders, I set my face with my setting spray and it's all good. This is like next level dry, breaking, like if I move it, it's going to like crumble off and crack. I got another patch of some, like the same thing I have going on up here, which I am nowhere near dry from my forehead. So that's weird. The dryness went all the way down here. All of this right here is super dry and cracked. It looks like I have loads of makeup, which you guys saw. I literally did one layer with a damp sponge, and it's not full coverage, full cake that I usually wear with other foundations, or that I get with other foundations. I would say this is a full coverage, but it's not like it doesn't suck the life out of my skin. I think this powder is definitely a no-go for me. I have oily skin. I like a matte powder. I like something that's going to mattify and give me a pretty look to my skin, not something that's going to make me look like like the desert is on my skin. Literally, that's what it looks like. Cracked desert. All this area right here, and I am not living for that. Now the concealer, I have better concealers from the drugstore. That's the only way I can put it. Now I am going to give them a try during this week, next week, and then I will make my final decision after 2 weeks of trying it and giving it a good test run. You guys know I am pretty fair to all the products, even if my initial first impression is not the best. Now I always have first impressions with products. Sometimes I don't film first impressions, but I'm so glad that I filmed this one and I did like the live, try on, because yeah. I'm going to try the powder with a different foundation. I'm going to try the concealer with a different foundation. I'm going to try the concealer and set it with a different powder. I'm just going to really give it a go and see if one of the two will work out for me. But my first impression is definitely very off to a not good start. And I do want to say that I did realize that it looked like I applied a lot of powder. That is my normal amount of powder that I use with any other brand. So it's not like I did anything different other than use different products. That's it. I always use that amount of powder, but to give it another go, I will use it tomorrow and I will apply less powder. I will lightly dust it under my eyes. Maybe I'll use a brush instead of a sponge. But this right here it's not acceptable. My skin literally looks like it has like little cuts, like cracked cuts. That's literally how it looks. And it did crease a little under my eyes, which I told you guys I have natural creasing, like lines, fine lines, but once I set my concealer with powder, it doesn't really crease until the end of the day. And this one, I just finished my liner and it was creased already. So that's also not a good thing. It also kind of like broke my foundation from the side of my nose. I don't know if you guys will be able to see, but all of this just looks so ugly. And this dry patch up here that it gave me, like I never have anything dry on my forehead. Never, ever. So that's so annoying. Guys, I really wanted to like this, like based off my first impression. I wanted to have a good first impression, but it doesn't always work that way. Remember, we all have different skin types. We all have different skin needs. All our skin, everyone's skin is different. So if it worked out for someone else, that's totally fine. Don't come at me in the comments like, this person said that it's so good that it worked good for them. Like, products just naturally work different for everyone on everyone's skin, and you guys saw live in action that it just did not work good for my skin. Now, far away, it might look amazing. You know, if I put my other lens and I'm far away from the camera, my skin probably looks beautiful because everything else looks good. It's just this problem area right here that got like intensified. The creasing under my eyes and the dry patch that I got up here, and then the concealer removing my foundation from here, it is definitely noticeable. I mean, that seems like a lot of issues if you ask me. Yeah, let me know what you guys thought. If you guys are on the same boat as me, like, girl, that does look crusty dusty, just let it go. Because I'm so sad. Like, I mean, I feel like people should understand no one spends their money on a product and expects to hate it. At least I don't. I'm expecting to love the shit out of whatever product I buy. You know, I expected to like it. It didn't work out for me for this first impression. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. As always, all your feedback, all your comments, all your thoughts, leave them in a comment down below. And like always, I will see you all in my next video. Bye. I want to quickly show you guys how ugly my skin looked with this powder and this concealer. My under eyes look cracked and crepey, and this concealer is supposedly not a concealer that will crease under your eyes, and this was immediately after setting it with the powder, which looks horrible. My dry area looks so horrible. Towards the end of the day, it just looked so bad. It looked like I was a dry, cracked, just flaky mess on my skin, and my skin definitely felt it the next day as well. And as soon as I took off my whole makeup, I realized that I had bumps around the area where the powder was the worst and where it was super dry and like cracked. So yeah, this powder is definitely a no for me. I don't even want to put it on my skin anymore because I don't want to make it super dry and intensify the dryness around my like top lip area, because it's just not worth it for me. This concealer and this powder are a no for me. So just wanted to give you that update because I wore it throughout the whole day, and when I took it off towards like 11, 12 at night, it was just horrendous. It looked horrible on my skin. And yeah, just thought I'd let you guys know.